The Black Templars are one of the most popular chapters of Space Marines for good reason. They're psychotic space crusaders who are always up for a fight. They're the rebellious bad boys who said screw you and your rules when Rabute Gilliman decided to establish the Codex Astartes, declaring an eternal crusade so they would never have to conform. They believe in taking their fight to the enemies of mankind, and it all dates back to the founder of the chapter, First Captain Sigismund of the Imperial Fist Legion, one of the first loyalist of Space Marines to fall in line with the Imperial cult. While this newfound religious belief caused a rift to form between him and his father, Rogal Dorn, he served the Emperor as a brave soldier until his death at the hands of Abaddon the Despoiler. The Black Templars are masters of close-range melee combat, their chapter having produced some of the greatest swordsmen the 40k universe has ever seen. The Black Templars also use a unique ranking system, having entire fleets instead of companies, each led by a marshal who answers only to the High Marshal, the equivalent of the chapter master. Their equivalent to sergeants are called castellans, and as you can see from this image, these are very decorated veterans, each with a speciality honed over the course of sometimes centuries of combat experience. Each fleet of the Black Templars chapter is somewhat autonomous as well, each kind of going on their own crusade, some specializing in fighting Chaos, others specializing in fighting Xenos. Mostly orcs, because they just happen to be everywhere. It should also be noted that the Black Templars do not have any Psykers in their ranks. Some believe this is due to an event called the Howling that has not been fully elaborated yet in the Warhammer 40k lore. However, this lack of Psykers also fits the melee-first philosophy of this chapter, trusting in the strong works of the Forges over the mystical arts of the Warp. One thing I think of is often dismissed when people talk about the Black Templars is how much they seem to care about their brother chapters, with one notable character being Reclesiarch Grimwaldus, who went out of his way to help the Celestial Lions recover after the Third War for Armageddon, an act that could have very well cost him his life due to the Celestial Lions' beef with the Inquisition. This sort of creates this dichotomy to the Black Templars between honorable knights and psychotic space crusaders, deepening their character and really ingraining themselves with a lot of people in the Warhammer 40k fandom. And of course, like any good company, Games Workshop would want to capitalize on that popularity. Meet the White Templars, a color-swapped variant of the Black Templars that used to be recognized as a successor chapter of the Imperial Fists. However, this has since been retconned and the chapter is now undergoing a crusade to discover their true origins. A completely pointless retcon which will never cease to annoy me, especially since they seem to be trying to have their cake and eat it too when it comes to differentiating them from the Black Templars. Their only notable victory in the lore is fighting against Tyranids who try to invade their homeworld of Sanctum. And in current times, they're crusading to find their origins, as I said before, even though it seems like they could just ask the Mechanicus who their dad is. Also, if they received Primaris reinforcements like the wiki seems to imply, it seems like they should know who their Primarch was. This retcon will never make sense. They should have just left the White Templars as successors of Rogal Dorn like Rob Sanders showed them in his novel Legion of the Damned. They fit in as a chapter really well with the rest of the Imperial Fist successors. Next up we have the Red Templars, who are successors of the Imperial Fist Legion, at least for now. They immediately differentiate themselves using a fleur-de-lis instead of a cross. This chapter said, "Father, I too would like a bike," and adopted the gotta-go-fast mentality of the White Scars, riding into combat like cavaliers of old. This chapter has worked alongside the Minotaurs in destroying a renegade Space Marine chapter known as the Night Reapers. And in terms of notable military campaigns, that's about it. They've got a really cool color scheme though, so that's points in their direction, I guess. If you're looking for a hybrid of White Scars and Imperial Fists, these are the guys for you. The last chapter that fits this general theme while maintaining the connection to the Imperial Fist Legion are the Hospitallers, a fleet-based chapter who protect Imperial pilgrims and merchants. In my opinion, the story potential for these guys is off the charts, as they can very much be painted as a sympathetic chapter towards normal humans, dedicating their lives to protecting the weak and vulnerable, really living up to the ideals of what a knight should be, or at least as they're portrayed in fiction and fantasy. The last Space Marine chapter I could find with Templar in the name are the Silver Templars. They are a Primaris-only chapter from the Ultima founding, and these guys break away from the tradition of being connected to Rogel Dorn by being sons of Rabute Gilliman. Ever since their founding, they've basically followed their Primarch around fighting Plague Marines and other Chaos forces, with a single deviation when a company faced off against orcs. Like most Primaris Marines, there isn't really a whole lot to say about these guys. They're a Codex-compliant chapter, pretty solid frontline fighters, nothing super unique about them. Basically just another chapter of Ultramarines with a different paint scheme, if that's your thing. On a personal level, it does kind of annoy me that they have a much longer list of battles than the White and Red Templars do if they combined. So it just, I don't know, feels like more Ultramarine favoritism. Overall, I would say the Templar archetype is a solid well to draw from when it comes to making Space Marine chapters. I just wish GW would have fleshed out the White Templars and the Red Templars a little more. Like, despite their name, I can't even say for sure that they fall in line with the Imperial cult. The Silver Templars for sure don't worship the Emperor, implying that they were only called the Silver Templars in an attempt to bank off of the popularity of the Black Templars, which is just kinda lame. With all that said, I'd like to thank you guys for giving this video a watch. I'd appreciate any likes or comments. You guys really have no idea how much that helps a small channel like mine. Literally every single bit of engagement increases this video's visibility. I love the idea of Crusaders in space. I just wish some of the Templar-based Space Marine chapters we had a little more to them. The Hospitallers especially seem to have a lot of open ground for stories to tell with them. I would even go as far as to say that maybe they should have a Sisters of Battle chapter, or whatever they're called, to join them. That way they can really fit that aesthetic of protecting the weak and vulnerable while having dedicated healers traveling with them. Although I guess you could say that they are called Hospitallers and not Templars, and historically speaking, Hospitallers were healers and Templars were the protectors of pilgrims. I don't know, it's all roughly based around the same general time period. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I hope you guys have a good one. And remember, every comment, like, whatever, does a lot to help increase this video's visibility. Bye.